unwritten, undesigned, unmapped. That's how legends are born, not from the perfection of preparation, but from the chaos of instinct, from the fire inside you that had no manual, no instruction, no guarantee. You had no blueprint, just hunger, no permission, just purpose, no path, just the pulse of something unexplainable that told you to keep going. You weren't trained for this, you weren't given a map, you just showed up. You stumbled forward, you bled through uncertainty, you made every scar your signature, and now they ask how it worked, as if the answer could be written in logic or reason, as if chaos could be bottled. They don't understand because they weren't there when you had nothing except belief. That unshakable madness inside you that refused to quit, even when every door slammed shut, even when every voice said stop. You had no plan, but you had the courage to move anyway. And that made all the difference. That made it legendary. And if you're here listening right now, if you feel this in your soul, it's because you know this story. Maybe it's your story. Maybe you've been building something out of nothing. Maybe you've been running on fumes, chasing dreams no one else could see. If this voice echoes your truth, then don't walk away from it. Subscribe, like, comment, not just to help this message rise, but because your presence here means something. It's a signal to the world that you're part of this tribe, the ones who don't wait for approval, the ones who leap first, the ones who craft storms into stories. Subscribing isn't a button, it's a battle cry, a quiet rebellion against the world that said you had to do things a certain way. If this speaks to you, then don't hesitate. Become part of this movement. One like, one comment, one connection. That's how revolutions begin. You see, the world glorifies the perfect, the polished, the proven, the planned. But what they don't tell you is this: the most unforgettable stories were never rehearsed. The real ones, the raw ones, they come from broken nights and blind faith, from walking into rooms where you didn't belong, from raising your voice when no one wanted to hear it, from fighting for a vision only you could see. And still, you kept going, with no step-by-step strategy, with no mentor in your ear, with only the echo of your own breath and the weight of your own dreams pressing against your chest. You made your way through the fog. You failed forward. You improvised greatness. You weren't ready, but you were real. And in this world, that's rare, that's priceless, that's power. They'll study your path and try to reverse engineer it. They'll say it was genius. They'll point to the moments it worked and call them tactics. But you'll know the truth. The truth is, it wasn't the steps. It wasn't the strategy. It was the spirit. That relentless pulse inside you that didn't care if the odds made sense, that didn't need reassurance, that only needed forward. Because when you're called, you don't need confirmation. You just move. And somehow, impossibly, beautifully, you make it work, even when you shouldn't, especially when you shouldn't. That's what makes it legendary. Every time you were lost, you discovered something deeper. Every time you were rejected, you built resilience. Every failure taught you to rewire your instincts. You learned to trust what couldn't be seen, to follow signs that weren't even there yet. You stopped asking for permission. You stopped waiting for perfect timing. Because there is no perfect timing, only your timing, only your fire, only your mad belief that you were made for more, and you'd find a way to prove it. And you did. That's the part they don't understand. They only see the outcome. They don't see the 1,000 invisible choices that got you here, the 1,000 internal wars you had to win just to stay on your feet. And still, you rise. Let them wonder. Let them question. Let them try to replicate what you did. They won't be able to, because what you've done can't be replicated. It wasn't a formula, it was a force. The kind of force that comes from pain turned into power, from silence turned into sound, from confusion turned into clarity. Not because it made sense, but because you decided it would. That's the secret. That's the magic. It's not about having it all figured out. It's about having the audacity to begin without the answers, and the strength to finish, even when the questions never stopped. You weren't lucky. You were relentless. You weren't prepared. You were present. You didn't follow a path. You forged one. And now they call you a legend, not because you did it the right way, but because you did it your way. That's what makes history. That's what leaves fingerprints on time. The willingness to stand up without a script, to speak without notes, to move without knowing where the road leads. The ones who do that, they don't just succeed, they shift the entire story. And now, this is your reminder. You don't need to wait for clarity. You don't need permission to begin. You don't need to know how it ends to take the first step. What you need is already inside you. It always was. Doubt will scream. Fear will whisper. People will stare. Let them. Let them wonder how you're still standing. Let them try to make sense of your rise. Let them be confused. That's the price of doing the impossible. You were never here to be understood. You were here to be unforgettable. They told you it wouldn't work. They told you to play it safe. They told you to wait, to slow down, to follow the rules. But you weren't made for rules. You were made for rupture, for disruption. You were made to be the voice in a room full of echoes. You were made to be the exception they never saw coming. Every time they said no, something inside you screamed louder. Every time they doubted, your purpose sharpened. You didn't grow from comfort. You grew from chaos. You weren't raised by guarantees. You were raised by grit. And that is why you can stand here today, not because you had the answers, but because you had the fire to walk through the questions and keep moving forward when everyone else turned back. Your success wasn't built in daylight. It was forged in the midnight of your soul. Those long hours when no one clapped for you, when no one believed, when the only cheer was the beating of your own heart, saying, "Not yet, keep going." You were your own momentum. You were your own miracle. You taught yourself how to survive when the world went silent. You taught yourself how to create when nothing made sense. And that's why this story hits different, because it wasn't supposed to happen. You didn't have the map. You were the map. And now that people see it, now that they feel the weight of what you've built from dust, they're asking, how did that even work? As if greatness requires permission, as if legend demands logic. But here's the truth no one wants to admit. The ones who win, truly win, are the ones who don't wait to feel ready. They walk into the fire anyway. They lose everything, rebuild it, and lose it again. And still, they show up. Still, they fight. Still, they believe. And belief, real belief, isn't some pretty word you wear on a t-shirt. Real belief means doing it afraid, doing it when no one is watching, doing it when there is zero proof that it will ever work. That's the kind of belief you carried. That's the kind of madness that changed everything. And you know what's wild? You made it look easy. You smiled while breaking. You rose while aching. You bled without showing the wound. That's what people don't see. That's what they'll never understand. Because the great ones, the real ones, they don't ask for sympathy. They ask for space. Space to build. Space to breathe. Space to become. And you became. Without applause. Without comfort. without a damn thing handed to you. Now they look at you like you had it figured out the whole time. They don't know you were walking blind, that every step was a gamble, that every win was a miracle. They don't know how many nights you cried through progress, how many losses you swallowed just to keep your name alive. But that's the part you don't explain. That's the part that stays yours. Because some things aren't meant to be shared. Some things are sacred. The pain behind your power, the doubt behind your dominance, the hell behind your heaven. That's yours. That's what forged you. And when you step into a room now, people feel it. They don't know what it is, but they feel it. That energy, that presence, that weight. It's not arrogance. It's not ego. It's earned. You earned every ounce of it through the losses, through the silence, through the unrecorded battles no one will ever see. You earned the right to stand tall. You earned the right to walk like you belong. Because you do. Not because someone gave you a seat at the table, but because you built the table from splinters and sacrifice. And that's what this speech is. It's not hype. It's history. It's your proof that you don't need a perfect plan. You just need unstoppable purpose. That even if you're walking into the unknown with no roadmap, no backup, no blueprint, you can still win. You can still create something timeless, something legendary. Because the power was never in the plan. The power was always in you. So the next time you feel lost, remember this. It's okay to not know the way. It's okay to stumble. It's okay to start small. Just start. Because movement, no matter how messy, builds momentum. And momentum is what makes magic. Not perfection, not timing, not permission. Just momentum. Just you, choosing to rise again, choosing to go anyway, choosing to speak, even when your voice shakes, choosing to risk it all for a life that makes your soul burn. And I need you to hear this, truly hear it. Your life doesn't need to make sense to anyone else. It just needs to feel right to you. This isn't about proving anyone wrong. This is about proving yourself right. The world will catch up later. But first, you need to trust yourself enough to go without them, to run before they cheer, to build before they believe, to live before they understand. That's what you did, and that's why it worked. The truth is, most people will never understand what it takes to carry a dream that nobody else believes in. They don't understand the weight. They don't understand the nights you stared at the ceiling wondering if it was all a waste. The mornings you got up with nothing left, but still showed up because something inside you couldn't quit. They don't feel that quiet war between who you were and who you're trying to become. They don't see the way your heart has to keep beating, even when your world is silent. But you kept going. You held your silence like a sword. You used your pain like fuel. You let every no become your next level. And in that storm, in that madness, something awakened inside you. Something primal, something they couldn't predict. You stopped asking how and just became the answer. They thought the absence of a plan meant failure, but you proved them wrong. You didn't need perfect steps. You just needed relentless movement. You didn't need a map. You became the compass. You didn't wait for the stars to align. You reached up and dragged them into place. Because waiting never made legends. Movement did. Risk did. Grit did. And that's what you had in spades. Grit. The kind no one can measure, no one can fake, no one can teach. It lives in you. It breathes through your scars. It speaks through your actions. And now, even in silence, people hear you. And now they watch, stunned, confused, inspired, whispering your name like a myth. How did that even work? They ask. It worked because it had to, because failure wasn't an option, because you weren't doing this for applause. You were doing it because your soul would not let you live small. You were doing it because something inside you refused to settle. You were doing it because you were born to leave a mark, not to fit in, not to follow, but to create something so real, so raw, so undeniable that the world would have no choice but to stop and stare. You didn't need a fancy strategy. You needed heart. You needed obsession. You needed to burn for something no one else could see. That's why it worked. Because the universe doesn't respond to logic. It responds to fire. It responds to intention. It responds to movement. And you were a storm in motion, a weapon in waiting, a revolution walking. You didn't wait for the green light. You became the signal. You didn't beg for the door to open. You broke the wall. You didn't ask to be chosen. You chose yourself. That's what they don't teach. That's what they can't teach. Because this isn't about tactics. This isn't about strategy. This is about soul, about grit, about pain turned into purpose, about walking into the dark with nothing but belief. That's the kind of power they can't replicate. That's the kind of truth they can't deny. Because when you move from that place, when you create from that place, it always works. Maybe not at first, maybe not the way you expected, but eventually it hits. Eventually it erupts. And when it does, the world watches in awe, forgetting that just months ago they were silent, that they didn't share, that they didn't believe, that they didn't show up. But you showed up for yourself. Again and again and again, even when it hurt, even when it didn't make sense, even when nothing around you changed, but you did. And that's the part that flips everything, because when you change, the world has to respond. Reality has to catch up, and now it's catching up, fast. You didn't just build a life, you built a frequency, a vibration, a presence so real, it bends the room when you walk in. Not because you're loud, not because you're flashy, but because there's history behind your eyes, because there's fire in your voice, because there's war in your silence. And people feel that. They feel the cost, they feel the weight, and that's what makes you unforgettable. So don't let them shrink you. Don't let them distract you. Don't let them sell you comfort dressed as advice. You didn't come this far to be polite. You came to finish what you started. You came to show the world what happens when you don't quit. You came to prove that miracles don't require instructions, just insistence. You came to remind yourself that even when you had no map, no backup, no mentor, no plan, you still made it look like destiny. And if you're listening right now, and this still feels like your beginning, good. That means there's more to build, more to burn, more to become. You're not done yet. You've barely scratched the surface of what lives inside you. The next level won't come from waiting. It'll come from deciding. So decide. Not tomorrow, not someday, now. Decide that this is your story and you are writing it in real time. With your breath, with your sweat, with your sacrifice. Don't wait for clarity. Create it. Don't wait for confidence. Build it. Don't wait for permission. Be it. You've already proven you can survive the storm. Now it's time to become it. Not the victim of life, but the force that shapes it. Not the one who watches, but the one who moves. Not the one who explains, but the one who executes. The one who builds the unbuildable, says the unspeakable, does the impossible. the one who walks into fire and comes out holding light. That's who you are. That's who you've always been. You don't owe the world a perfect plan. You don't owe them an explanation. You owe yourself results. You owe yourself the honor of becoming everything they said you couldn't. And if you do it right, they'll still ask, how the hell did that even work? And you'll smile. Not because you had the answer, but because you became it. And when you look back, you'll remember that it started with nothing. No map, no manual, no guarantees, just madness, just belief, just motion. And somehow, you turned all of that chaos into clarity, all of that failure into fire, all of that doubt into domination. You made it look legendary, not because you planned it, but because you lived it. So now, this is your moment. If you've been waiting for a sign, this is it. If you've been holding back, stop. If you've been waiting to be ready, realize this. You already are. You've already proven that you don't need it to make sense. You just need it to matter. And it does. So go. Build it. Break it. Rebuild it again. Fall. Rise. Fall again. Rise louder. Because the world doesn't remember those who waited. It remembers those who moved, those who bled, those who broke the mold. You had no plan, and still, you made it legendary. Legendary. And now they can't look away. You didn't just survive. You carved your name into the silence. You didn't wait for permission. You wrote your story in scars and fire. And now, even without a plan, you've left a blueprint behind. Not one made of perfect steps or flawless logic, but one forged from raw instinct and impossible courage. That's what they'll remember. Not that you had it all figured out, but that you showed up anyway, that you dared, that you believed, that you moved. That's legacy. That's what legends are built on. If nothing else, let this speech be the mirror you've been avoiding. Look into it and see who you really are. Not the one they doubted, not the one you second-guessed, but the one who kept rising, the one who turned noise into fuel and emptiness into power. You had no plan, and yet you became the storm. And if you've come this far, there is nothing that can stop what comes next. Because now you know, your path doesn't need to make sense to anyone else, only to you. You know what you are now. Not lost, not broken, not unprepared. You are unpredictable. And that is your edge. That is your advantage. So the question is no longer, how did that even work? The question is, what's stopping you now? This is the moment. This is the test. Not of knowledge, not of planning, but of will. Will you stop because it's hard, or will you rise because it's hard? Will you fade back into the crowd, or will you go again, louder, messier, and more powerful than ever? The choice is yours. In a world that worships order, you became proof that chaos can be divine. That purpose doesn't always arrive with a plan. That fire doesn't always need direction. Sometimes it just needs freedom. And you gave yourself that freedom. You said yes to the madness. You leaned into the uncertainty. And from that, you created something unforgettable. So carry that fire with you now, into every battle, into every quiet morning, into every dream no one else understands. Because it was never about knowing the way, it was about becoming it. No one saw you coming, and that's exactly why it worked. You were underestimated, overlooked, and uninvited, and still, you arrived. You didn't ask for the spotlight, you brought your own fire. You didn't ask for the script, You wrote it with your footsteps. And even now, the world is still trying to figure out how you did it. But you know the answer. It wasn't luck. It wasn't magic. It was the decision to keep going when everything said stop. Quietly, relentlessly, unshakably. That's what made it legendary. Ah, the silence today, an eerie and haunting quiet that stretches beyond comprehension. It's not the calm after the storm. No, this is something darker, more profound. It's the silence that follows the last breath of victory, the stillness that lingers once you've crossed the final line, once the game has ended and the battles fought have reached their bloody and unforgiving conclusion. It's the silence of an ending, the end of something fierce and final. And in this moment, you know deep down, you've played the final round. The stakes were high, the odds were against you, but you made it. And now, they're out for good, gone forever from your life, from your mind, from your path. No more distractions, no more petty wars, no more trivial things standing in your way. They are finished, cast aside by the weight of your will and determination. But even as you stand in the wreckage of their fall, there's a creeping truth that starts to gnaw at the edges of your mind. It's the question that haunts every conqueror, every warrior who has ever faced the crushing weight of victory. What now? The battle is over. The final round has been played, and yet the world remains. The challenge, the hunger, the need for more, it doesn't just vanish. No, the silence is not peace. It is the silence before the real storm, the one that begins within you. Because the final round wasn't the end of the game. It was just the beginning of something far more brutal, something that demands more than just strength. It demands sacrifice. It demands that you look into the abyss and not turn away. It forces you to confront the truth of who you are and what you're capable of becoming. You see, they thought they could break you. They thought you were just another casualty, just another weak soul who would crumble under pressure, who would fold when the game got too hard. They were wrong. They underestimated you. They didn't see the fire that burned inside you, the rage that simmered beneath the surface, the relentless drive that pushed you beyond your limits and made you rise when others would have fallen. You were always destined for something more, and that something came at a price. The cost of victory, of true victory, is far more than most can comprehend. It's not just about being the last one standing. It's about being the one who stands alone against everything and everyone and still emerges stronger. You played the final round, and now they're gone for good. But don't think for a second that this is the end of your struggle. No, this is when the real work begins. You've won, but what have you truly won? You've silenced the opposition, but what happens when silence is all that's left? There's no applause here, no cheering crowds, no validation from those who once doubted you. There is only the cold, empty feeling of having done what no one thought you could. And now, in the stillness of your success, you must confront the one thing that is left: yourself. The journey was always about more than them. It was never about proving them wrong. It was always about proving to yourself that you were capable of more, that you had the strength, the cunning, the will to do what others could not. But now, the question shifts. What do you do with the space they've left behind? What do you do with all that power, all that focus, all that energy now that there's no one left to fight? It's not enough to rest on your laurels and claim victory, for the world moves on. The game moves on. And if you stand still, if you rest too long in the glow of your success, you will soon find that the world will pass you by. It will move past you and leave you behind. The true test is not in winning the final round, but in what you do after the final round. You have to evolve, you have to adapt, you have to become more than what you were before. The fight was not just about defeating them, it was about discovering who you truly are. And now that the battlefield is empty, now that the last of the opposition has crumbled, it's time for you to find out what lies beneath the surface, what lurks in the depths of your own mind. There are parts of you that have been dormant, buried under the weight of struggle, that now demand your attention. They want to be heard, they want to be seen, and they will not be ignored. These parts of you are the ones that will shape your future, that will determine whether you are just another passing victor, or whether you will carve your name into the annals of history. There is no time for complacency. The world doesn't wait for you to catch your breath. It doesn't wait for you to process the destruction you've just wrought. It moves forward, relentlessly, and if you want to stay ahead, if you want to continue to rise, then you must move forward too. The final round is over, but the real challenge is in the silence that follows. Can you stand in the silence without faltering? Can you live with the consequences of your own victory, with the knowledge that you have done what few could ever even imagine? That's the true measure of who you are, and trust me when I tell you, that's the hardest battle you will ever face. So do not seek the validation of others. Do not wait for recognition, for applause, for the approval of a world that is always ready to tear you down, to find your flaws and exploit them. The only approval you need is your own. The only validation you need is the one you give yourself when you look into the mirror and know that you gave everything, that you held nothing back, that you fought with everything you had. And then, some. That is where true strength lies. That is where true power resides. Not in what others think of you, not in what they see when they look at you, but in what you know you are capable of. What you know you can do when no one else is watching, when no one else is there to see the sacrifices you make, the struggles you endure, the endless hours you put in to ensure that your victory is not just an accident, but a deliberate, calculated result of your own blood, sweat, and tears. You have defeated them. You have won the final round. But do not think that this is the end. This is merely the beginning of a new war. A war against complacency, against the fear of what happens next. A war against the parts of you that want to rest, to stop, to settle. But you know deep down that you cannot. You cannot stop now. Not when you've come this far. Not when you've seen just how far you can go. The silence may be deafening, but it is also liberating. It is your chance to reset, to rebuild, to emerge from the ashes of the old, and rise stronger than before. The final round is over, but your journey is far from done. So take a moment to breathe, to feel the weight of what you've accomplished, but do not stay in that moment for too long. The world will not wait for you, and neither should you. You have played the final round, and they are out for good. But now it is time for you to move forward and find the next battle, the next challenge, the next victory. Because in the end, there is always another round, another fight, another war waiting just around the corner. And you are ready. Ready to rise, ready to conquer, ready to become something even greater than what you were before. You're standing at the precipice, looking down at the journey you've just completed. The air is thick with the weight of victory, but also with the eerie sensation of what lies ahead. The ground beneath you seems solid enough, but it's a deceptive solidity, the kind that crumbles the moment you grow complacent. The silence that fills the space around you is a reminder that nothing lasts forever. You've made it, yes, but the question remains, what now? What do you do with the space left in your way? You've eliminated your competition. outlasted those who stood in your way, and proved that you are more than capable of going the distance. But this is where the real challenge begins. You've reached the top, but the real test is not in how high you can climb, it's in how long you can stay there. The true essence of your victory lies not in the battles you've already fought, but in the ones that are yet to come. You may have defeated them, but you're still standing in the arena. The war isn't over, it has only just begun. You've tasted success, but don't be fooled. That taste can be fleeting. It's the hunger for more, the insatiable desire to rise beyond what you thought was possible that will define your future. The question you have to ask yourself is simple yet profound. Are you willing to go even further? Are you ready to climb even higher, to push beyond the limits of what you once thought were your boundaries? They're out for good. The obstacles, the distractions, the voices that told you that you couldn't do it, they're gone. But in their absence, there is only one thing left for you to confront. It's not the external forces, it's not the competition, and it's not the world that's standing in your way. The only thing left to challenge you is the person you see when you look in the mirror. It's the voice inside your head that tells you that you've reached the peak, that you've done enough, that now is the time to rest, to revel in the spoils of your hard-fought war. That voice will try to convince you that you've earned your place, that you've done your part, and now you deserve to bask in the glory of your victory. But don't listen to that voice. Don't let it lull you into complacency. You see, the moment you start thinking that you've reached the end, the moment you stop believing that there's more to be gained, that's when the fall begins. That's when the weakness sets in. Success is a dangerous thing because it breeds comfort, and comfort breeds stagnation. The moment you stop pushing, the moment you stop growing, that's when the world will leave you behind. So ask yourself, are you content with the heights you've reached, or do you have the hunger to climb even higher? There is always more. There is always further to go. The key to survival, the key to thriving in this world, is the ability to keep moving forward even after you've achieved what you once thought was impossible. The game is not over. You've won a battle, but there are countless more to fight. And it's not just about surviving, it's about conquering. It's about showing the world that the victory you've claimed wasn't a fluke, that you're not a one-hit wonder, but a force to be reckoned with. It's about proving that what you've achieved was just the beginning, that you've got more in you, that you can go further than anyone could ever imagine. You're standing on the precipice, but the view isn't everything. It's the next step that matters. It's the choices you make from this point forward that will define who you become. The ones who never make it, the ones who are forgotten, are the ones who fall victim to their own success. They believe they've done enough. They believe they've reached the peak. And once they stop pushing, once they let themselves rest on their laurels, that's when they begin to slip. And then there are those like you, those who understand that this moment is just a fraction of the journey. You know that there is no finish line, no end to the race. The moment you think you've done it all is the moment you start slipping back into the pack. But you are different. You have that fire, that drive, that relentless pursuit of something greater. You are not content to stop now. You are not done. You never will be. But in this new phase, in this new journey that is just beginning, you must learn to adapt. The way you fought the battles of the past, the way you crushed your competition, may not be the same way you will win in the future. The landscape changes, the rules shift, and if you're not willing to change with it, if you're not willing to constantly evolve, then you'll find yourself left behind. In this moment of silence, in this rare moment of stillness, you have a choice. You can either step forward into the unknown, into the future, with all the wisdom and strength you've accumulated, or you can stay in the past, reliving your victories until they grow stale and irrelevant. The thing about victory, the thing that so many don't realize, is that it doesn't last forever. The glory fades, the recognition fades, the respect of others, the admiration you once commanded will eventually diminish. The world moves on, people forget, but the one thing that can never be taken from you, the one thing that will always define your legacy, is the work you put in. It is the journey, not the destination, that truly matters. The lessons you learn along the way, the sacrifices you make, the trials you endure, that is what shapes you. That is what will stay with you long after the accolades and awards have been given out and forgotten. And so, as you stand at the crossroads, as you look back at all you've achieved, and ahead at the endless possibilities that lie before you, remember this: the final round is just the beginning. The real work starts now. The real test begins when you realize that there is always more to learn, more to do, more to become. And as long as you have breath in your lungs, as long as your heart beats with that fire, you will never stop. Because you are not just here to survive, you are here to dominate. You are here to leave your mark on this world, to create a legacy that is untouchable, to show everyone that you are not just a champion. You are a force of nature, and forces of nature don't stop. They don't rest, they don't settle. They move forward relentlessly until they've reshaped the very world around them. So keep moving, keep pushing, keep growing. The final round is over, but the war, that's just begun. And make no mistake, you've already won the hardest battle of all. The battle against your own complacency. The fight to rise again, to keep going when the world tells you to stop. And with that victory comes the power to change everything. The power to rise even higher than before. The power to leave everyone behind, to leave a legacy that will last long after you've gone. They're out for good, but you're just getting started. You've crossed the finish line, yes, but there's more to this journey than crossing the tape at the end. You've reached the top of the mountain, but now you realize the real climb has yet to begin. For most, they would take this moment to revel in their success, to bask in the glory of their hard-fought triumphs, to savor the sweet taste of victory before the world moves on. But not you. You know better. You understand something that others don't, that the true battle is not in the conquest, but in the aftermath. It's not about being the last one standing. It's about what you do with the space once your enemies have been vanquished. It's about what you do when the stage is set, when the lights are dim, and the crowd is gone. So you stand alone in this moment, and for the first time, the world is yours. But you are not content. You cannot be. Because the truth is that victory is not an end. It's a beginning. It's the starting point for everything that's about to unfold. It's the spark, the catalyst that sets everything into motion. If you think you've reached the peak, then you've missed the point. The journey, the true journey, begins now. Because there is always more to achieve, more to push for, more to overcome. And you are not the kind of person who stops. Not when the fire inside you still burns so fiercely. Not when the hunger to be more, to become something greater than you've ever been before, pulses through your veins. Yes, they are out for good, but the real question you must ask yourself is, what next? What do you do when the noise dies down, when the last enemy falls, and you're left standing amidst the silence? What do you do when the world looks at you, expecting you to be satisfied with what you've accomplished, and all you feel is the next challenge calling your name? You have to understand that you have only just begun to tap into your true potential. The fight, the battle, the war, it was only a precursor to something far greater. You thought you were fighting for survival, fighting to win, but now you know the truth. You were fighting to awaken the beast inside you, and now that beast is unleashed. But it's not enough to be awakened. Being awake, being conscious of your potential is one thing, but harnessing it, molding it, and shaping it into something untouchable, that's the real work. That's where you separate yourself from the masses. That's where you become more than just another victim. You become a force of nature. You become an unstoppable entity, a powerhouse that no one can even begin to understand. And it's not about showing others what you can do. No, this is about showing yourself that you can go further than you ever imagined. This is about proving to yourself that there is no limit to what you can achieve, that there is no ceiling to your potential. The truth is, most people never reach this point. Most people will stop here, satisfied with what they've accomplished, content to let the past define them. But you are not most people. You are different. You understand that to grow, you must constantly challenge yourself, constantly push your limits, constantly redefine what you are capable of. And you are not afraid of that challenge. No, you crave it. You want to break the mold, to tear down the boundaries, to step into uncharted territory and claim it as your own. You've already shattered your limits once, so why not do it again? And again, and again, until there's nothing left of the old you, but a faint memory of someone who thought they couldn't do it. The world is vast, and the potential for greatness is endless. There is no peak, there is no summit that can contain your ambition, your drive, your unyielding need to become the best version of yourself. So look ahead, look to the horizon, and know that there is no finish line, no end to the journey. There are always more mountains to climb, always more challenges to face, always new heights to reach. The key is in how you approach each new step. The key is not to look back at the battles you've won, but to look forward at the battles that lie ahead, the battles that will test you in ways you've never been tested before. But here's the truth. You don't fear those battles. You don't fear failure. You don't fear defeat, because you've already tasted the sweetness of victory. And you know that the only way to continue winning, the only way to keep moving forward, is to face those challenges head on, to embrace them with open arms and a heart full of fire. This is your time. This is your moment. You've spent so long proving yourself to others, but now, the only person you need to prove anything to is yourself. There is a level of success that few will ever reach, a level of achievement that only those who are willing to sacrifice everything will ever experience. And you are willing. You know that the path is not easy. It never is. The road ahead is paved with obstacles, with setbacks, with doubts. There will be moments when you feel like giving up, moments when the weight of your goals will feel too heavy to bear, but you won't give up. You can't. You have seen what lies on the other side of perseverance. You have seen the heights that can be reached when you refuse to stop, when you refuse to let go of your dreams. And that is a sight worth fighting for. This journey is not for the faint of heart. It is not for those who are content with mediocrity, with settling for what's easy. It is for those who dare to dream big, to think beyond the constraints of what is possible. You are not bound by the limitations that others place on you. You are not confined to the boxes they try to put you in. You are limitless. You are boundless. And it's time for you to show the world just how far you can go. It's easy to sit back, to let others take the lead, to watch as the world moves around you. But you are not a spectator. You are not here to watch others make their mark. You are here to make your own. And you will. You will take everything that life throws at you, and you will turn it into something magnificent. The challenges, the obstacles, the pain, it all has a purpose. They are the tools that will forge you into something stronger, sharper, and more resilient than you ever thought possible. But there's something else, a secret that only those who truly understand greatness know. It's that the road to success is never linear. It's never a straight line from point A to point B. It's filled with twists, turns, and detours. It's filled with moments of doubt, moments when you question whether it's all worth it. But the greatest ones, the true champions, they don't let those moments define them. They don't let those setbacks stop them. They use them as fuel. They use those moments of pain as motivation to keep pushing forward, to keep climbing higher. And that's what makes you different. That's what sets you apart from everyone else. You understand that greatness is not a destination. It's a journey. And that journey never ends. It doesn't matter how far you've come, how many battles you've fought, how many victories you've claimed. There's always more. Always another challenge. Always another opportunity to prove yourself. And you will prove yourself over and over again until your name is etched into the annals of history, until you've left an indelible mark on this world that no one can ever erase. So, when you look back at where you started, at the obstacles you've overcome, at the battles you've fought and won, don't rest on your laurels. Don't sit back and congratulate yourself for making it this far, because this is just the beginning. The world is vast, and there's so much more to achieve, so many more mountains to climb. And you're just getting started. You've proven that you have what it takes. Now, it's time to prove that you can do it again and again, until there's no doubt left in anyone's mind that you are meant for greatness. They're out for good, but you're just getting started, and this world better watch out, because you're coming for everything. In the end, the final round was just the beginning. You've proven to yourself and the world that you have the strength, the will, and the fire to rise above any challenge. But now, with your competition gone and the silence settling in, it's time to embrace the next phase of your journey. There are no limits to what you can achieve, and the world is waiting for you to push even further. You are not here to rest. You are here to dominate, to redefine greatness, and to leave a legacy that will echo through time. They're out for good, but you're just getting started. You had no intention of taking this path, nothing planned, no blueprint, just raw energy pulsing through your veins. And now the world watches, in a breath-held silence. Your name spreads across timelines, whispers erupt in comment threads, and headlines question how. How does one explode? From nothing to everywhere. How does the void transform into a roar in the darkest corners of your doubt? You found light, and in that light, the world found you. Listen closely and feel the tremor in your chest. That's your heart telling you you're alive and you matter. You're not just witnessing the storm. You became the storm, an unstoppable force born from the simplest spark. And now that spark burns across continents, across cultures. You had no intention of becoming this ripple. Yet, look at how that ripple conquered oceans of attention. The universe conspired, or maybe chaos favored you. It doesn't matter, because now you stand the axis on which countless eyes fix their gaze. I need you to stop right now. Let that pause pull you deeper until every cell in your body vibrates with understanding. And while you absorb that truth, please subscribe, like, and comment, because I cannot navigate this wild ride without you. I need you here on this path with me. Your presence means every word that comes next matters, because we're building something bigger than a moment, bigger than a trend, bigger than any one of us alone. Don't just watch, become part of this wave, so that together we can rise beyond the noise. Now feel the gravity of your ascent. Remember how you started, unremarkable. No fanfare, no expectations, just a whisper of ambition in the darkness. And against every calculation, the algorithms, the tides of attention turn toward you, not because you chase virality, but because something authentic radiated from within. That magnetism pulled in souls from every corner. They paused, they stayed, and then they shared, because you offered something real, so raw that the world couldn't look away. Let me drill this into your bones. Virality is not manufactured. It's the echo of truth in a cacophony of echo chambers. You had no plan, but you delivered a moment, a pulse that forced the world to lean in. You are that moment. You are the pulse. And even though you began without intention, now intention is born clear as glass forged in fire. So transform that raw spark into dominion. Carve your path with precision, even though the flight was accidental. Now, you pilot fate yourself. Your rise is not fluke or fantasy. It's proof that intention follows impact, not the other way around. You ignited without blueprint, but now you create purpose. From momentum, every click, every watch, every share is fuel. Do not ignore that fuel. Do not let it wane. Harvest it, fan it into conflagration, because you didn't intend to go viral. But now that you are rising, yes, now you have a duty to channel that power to something enduring, something that matters beyond the moment. You owe this to yourself, to the countless watchers who resonated with your authenticity, who felt the tremor of your breakthrough, and to the blank page that witnessed your unplanned ascent. Don't let this fade into memory. Don't let it settle into mere happenstance. Instead, declare your presence. Rewrite the narrative on your own terms. Let the next chapters be intentional, forged by the same energy that flung you onto the global stage. Feel the weight of that unintentional rise and let it anchor you. Anchor you in responsibility, in clarity, in fierce creative force. You might have stumbled into virality, but now you stride into purpose, into clarity, into legacy. You had no intentions, yet you're trending worldwide. So now, take that world by storm. Shape it in your vision. Mold it with your truth. Every ripple you send now carries meaning. Let that meaning build mountains. Let it fracture the mundane. Let it reverberate across timelines. Not as an accident, but as a statement. Let doubt quake before your resolve, for you began without plan. But now, you grow with intent. You began as whisper, but now you roar because the world listened. Now it demands more. So, give it more. Don't settle for being a fleeting spark. Instead, become wildfire. Consume the darkness with creativity, with courage, with unshakable conviction. Your rise wasn't scripted, but now you write your destiny in fire. Remember, the silence you emerge from is your power vantage. You know the void well. You know how to rise from nothing. The knowledge is your crucible through which greatness is born. Now forge that greatness forges, not just headlines, but hearts. Not just attention, but movement. Let this be your mission, your manifesto. Let the world know that you didn't plan this, but you own it now. Your story is the fiercest testament to unplanned perseverance, to the wild geometry of existence, to the fact that intention can grow from chaos and that every unconceived step can become an axis of transformation. Reach deeper stake, your claim. Ride this wave with full force. Do not hold back. Do not let the momentum slip away. The world is paying attention because you shined in the dark. So now, shine brighter, shine with purpose. Shine until your brightness becomes the new norm. You had no intentions originally, but now you have everything. Intention, yield that power, direct that energy, build that empire of meaning. Rise beyond trending. Rise into legend. Become unforgettable. And as you stand in the storm that your own heartbeat summoned, listen again to the silence beneath the noise, because within that silence lies the memory of who you were before the world started watching back, when the mirror reflected someone invisible to the crowd, but undeniable to yourself. You always had something inside, something no one saw, and maybe even you forgot. Maybe it stayed buried beneath hesitation and the need for approval, but now the world cracked open and let you in. And that something is waking up now, with eyes wide and hands clenched in hunger. This isn't luck. This isn't coincidence. This is alignment. The fire in your gut matched the frequency of 1,000,000 souls, and that frequency sang your name louder than you ever expected. But don't be fooled into thinking this ends here. Going viral is not the peak. It's the ignition. It's the raw scream of a new beginning. The world did not give you this moment. You earned it, not with followers, not with fame, but with truth. And now that truth has gone viral. And I need you to hear this because it's easy to get lost in the numbers, the shares, the headlines, and the spotlight. But the real currency, the one that lasts, isn't attention, it's connection. And when people connect to what you've done, they're not just reacting, they're remembering something they forgot about themselves. You stirred something sacred in them. And for that, they follow. For that, they share. For that, they return. So let this moment be your vow, not to fame, but to the purpose hiding behind the platform. Don't dilute it. Don't sell it short. Let it sharpen you. Let it remind you that the fire you carry is rare and dangerous and needed, because in a world suffocating from filters and noise, you let something real escape, and it tore through the digital fog like thunder. And now they know your name. That name, once unknown, is now whispered in countries you've never seen, by people you've never met. And they don't just know it, they feel it. They attach hope to it. They attach possibility to it. And that's no small burden, but it's the most sacred one you'll ever hold. So don't run from it. Don't shrug it off. Don't say this was an accident. It was a calling dressed in chaos, and you answered it with every breath. You didn't know it was a declaration. You see, we wait our whole lives for a moment like this. A crack in the wall, a glimpse into what we could be. And while others scroll past their potential, hoping something will change, you became that change for someone else. You became the evidence that something small, something raw, something unpolished can break the surface and be seen. Now, I'm not here to flatter you. I'm here to remind you that the next move is everything. Because now, eyes are on you. Yes, but more importantly, hearts are watching. And that is a far heavier crown to carry than fame ever will be. Hearts are fragile and sacred. And when they believe in you, when they whisper that you inspired them, when they echo your words in their own private battles, you've gone beyond viral. You've become vital. So sharpen your voice, sharpen your presence, sharpen your commitment, and do not look away from the road ahead. You can't afford to. You're not anonymous anymore. You're not irrelevant anymore. And even if you never asked for this, even if you didn't want it, it chose you. And now you have a chance to build a world from it. Not a trend, not a campaign, a legacy. Let them ask how it happened. Let them debate what made it click. Let them dissect the algorithm and the timing and the tags. But you and I both know the truth. It wasn't strategy. It wasn't perfection. It was a moment of truth in a world desperate for it. It was the echo of something deeply human that refused to be filtered. It was you, raw, unintentional, unafraid, and unforgettable. And now you're standing on the edge of something that most people only dream of. You're holding lightning in your hands, and every day from here is a choice. Burn out or burn brighter, vanish or evolve, go silent or go deeper. And if you've come this far without meaning to imagine what happens when you choose it fully, when you lean in, when you show up, not by accident, but by fierce, deliberate action, this is your awakening. This is your storm. This is your war. Cry, echoing across timelines and screens and cities and homes and hearts. This is where you stop, apologizing for your presence. This is where you take what was given and multiply it by fire. This is where you stop being surprised by your own power and start owning it. They may forget the video, they may forget the moment, but they won't forget how it made them feel. And that feeling, that's your fingerprint on their lives. That's your legacy, already beginning to take root. So rise, not softly, not slowly. Rise like the reckoning that you are. Rise like every step forward is shattering the limits they tried to put on you. Rise because you were never meant to stay small, never meant to stay hidden. You were born for this, not by plan but by power, not by fame but by force. And even if you didn't intend to be here, you are, and now everything changes. Breathe that in. Let it pierce the part of you that still hesitates, and then leave that hesitation behind. You've outgrown it. You've outgrown the shadows. You've outgrown the silence. You've outgrown the fear. You had no intentions, and now you're trending worldwide, and nothing will ever be the same again. You stand at the crossroads where chaos meets destiny, where the unexpected collides with the inevitable. And every second that passes is a reminder that you are no longer invisible, no longer just a whisper lost in the wind, but a storm gathering momentum and strength, a force that reshapes the very landscape it touches. And it's terrifying and exhilarating all at once. But here's the truth. Fear doesn't vanish because you rise, it transforms it, becomes fuel, becomes the sharp edge that slices through, doubt that cleaves hesitation from your path. Remember when you first hit post or share or go live. You did it quietly, maybe nervously, maybe wondering if anyone would even notice. You did it without grand designs, without scripts, without the weight of expectation. You were just being yourself, or maybe something raw and unrefined. And that's why the world reached out to you. Because in a sea of manufactured perfection, your unfiltered pulse was a lifeline, a signal, fire to those who crave something real, something unshakable, something honest. And now here you are with eyes everywhere on you, and you wonder what happens next, because you never planned this trajectory, never intended to be the center of this storm. But life doesn't ask permission. It doesn't wait for your consent. It just moves forward, relentless, and sometimes cruel, and sometimes kind, and sometimes indifferent. And you either sink beneath it, or you learn to swim with the current. Or better yet, you learn to control the current and steer it where you want to go. This is your moment to decide, because you can't go back to being unknown, and you don't want to go forward half-heartedly either. The world sees you now, and even if that scares you, it's the invitation to become more than you thought possible, to write your own rules, to reshape your own future, to build something from the ashes of chance, something intentional, something lasting. Don't let the noise distract you. Don't let the fleeting attention fool you, because the game is bigger than the numbers. It's deeper than the likes. It's about the impact, the ripples you create in lives beyond the screen, the words you inspire, the courage you spark in others who see your rise and whisper to themselves, maybe I can do this too. Maybe the unplanned can become the unstoppable. Maybe someone like me can break free from the shadows and carve out their own space in this chaotic world. That's the real power you wield, the power to transform more than your own life, to touch the untouchable, to awaken the sleeping giants inside others. And that's a responsibility as heavy as it is sacred, because now every choice you make echoes beyond yourself. Every hesitation, every step forward, every word, every silence becomes a message to millions. So embrace it. Lean into it with open arms. Even when it feels overwhelming, even when doubt tries to claw its way back, even when the weight of expectation threatens to crush you, because this is where you grow. This is where you rise. This is where the unintentional becomes the undeniable. It's okay to be scared. It's okay to feel uncertain. It's okay to stumble, because none of this was scripted for you. It's all new territory. Every viral moment is a map that no one fully understands, and you're the explorer charting your own course with nothing but instinct and courage and whatever fire burns inside you. And that fire is your compass, your shield, your sword. In this wild, uncharted realm where trends come and go, but legends are forged by those who dare to stand tall in the chaos, who refuse to be swallowed by the noise, who take the spotlight not as a prize, but as a platform, a pulpit, a place to ignite, change, to awaken truth, to unleash power. You didn't plan this rise, but now that it's here, don't waste it. Don't let it slip through your fingers like smoke. Chase it, grab it, mold it, bend it until it becomes exactly what you need for your journey, for your dreams, for the legacy you were meant to leave behind. Because the world is watching, and it's hungry for something more than just viral videos. It's starving for authenticity, for courage, for the kind of light that only someone who's walked through darkness, unplanned and unbowed, can provide. So light that fire inside you now, feed it, nurture it, protect it, and let it blaze a trail so fierce, so bright that no one can ignore it, no one can diminish it, no one can take it away, because what you have is rare and fierce and unbreakable, because you had no intentions, but now you have the world at your feet and the power to make it yours. Let every doubt burn away in that flame. Let every fear be consumed by that heat, because you are not a mistake. You are not an accident. You are a force of nature born from the wild unpredictability of life itself. And now you have a choice. Fade into the background or step into the light and own it fully, fiercely, unashamedly. The world is waiting for your answer, and it doesn't matter if you're ready, because readiness is a myth. Waiting is a trap, and perfection is a lie. The only truth is this moment and what you decide to do with it. So rise. Rise with every ounce of strength you have. Rise with every heartbeat. Rise with the wild, unshaped fire that took you from nowhere to everywhere. Rise and become the story that no one could predict, but everyone will remember, because you had no intentions, and now you're trending worldwide. And this is only the beginning. You feel it now, don't you? That undeniable pull, the weight of expectation, the rush of possibility, the terrifying beauty of standing at the precipice of everything you never imagined. It's a raw, electric energy that hums beneath your skin, the kind that refuses to be ignored or silenced. You didn't ask for this moment, but now that it's here, it demands all of you. Your courage, your authenticity, your relentless fire. Look back for a moment, not to regret, but to honor where you started. That quiet place where no one knew your name, where your voice was just an echo in your own mind. It wasn't a failure to be unseen. It was the quiet before the storm, the stillness before the eruption. And now, in the aftermath of that explosion, the silence is gone. You're in the raw, and every roar reshapes the world around it. This isn't just about virality or fleeting fame. It's about the undeniable truth that what's real breaks through noise, that raw humanity pierces through screens and algorithms, and that your presence is a beacon for those who have been waiting for someone exactly like you. Someone who stumbles, who falters, who rises without a map or a manual. Someone who is more than the sum of their fears and doubts. You have become that beacon, and with that comes a weight few understand. The world isn't just watching, they are holding their breath, waiting to see what you'll do next. And it's okay to be scared of that. Fear is a companion on this journey, not an enemy. It's the sign that you are alive, that you are stretching beyond the boundaries that once confined you. Remember, the most powerful forces are born from chaos. You emerge from the unpredictable, unintentional surge of energy into a place where you are seen and heard on a scale you never dreamed possible. But now it's time to decide what that power means to you. Will you let it slip through your fingers like sand? Or will you grab it tightly, mold it with intention, and shape it into a legacy that lasts? The answer is yours. No one else can write your story or live your truth. But know this, the world is ready to listen, ready to follow, ready to be changed by the fire that only you can ignite. So lean in, show up. Speak your truth with the fierce conviction that brought you here, because you had no intentions. And now you're trending worldwide, and that is your power. That is your gift. That is your beginning. Rise. Hello everyone. Welcome back. Embrace yourself. Because today we're talking about something that's not for the faint-hearted. This is the harsh truth of the world we live in. It's the reality of power and control, and how, once you pull the plug on their game, they're shut down. I'm talking about that moment when you make the decision to stop being a pawn, when you choose to remove the influence they have over you. The moment when you take control and everything they've built around you crumbles to the ground. They didn't see it coming, they never prepared for it. And now, it's over. But here's the thing. When you pull that plug, you're not just affecting them, you're affecting everyone around them. You're shaking up the entire system, and if you're not ready for that, you might find yourself in the middle of a storm. But if you are ready, if you understand the weight of what you're doing, if you truly grasp the consequences, then you'll find power like you've never known before. Let's talk about that power. Let's talk about how you pulled the plug and left them paralyzed. This is your moment to take the world by storm. You're the one they thought they could control, the one they thought they could manipulate. They thought you'd stay in the shadows, bow to their every move, follow their script. They thought you were weak. They didn't know what you were truly capable of. They didn't realize that inside you was a fire that was just waiting for the right moment to burn through everything they built. You were their pawn, yes, but now you're the one pulling the strings. It's hard for most people to understand this kind of power. They don't know the cost of taking control. They don't see the sacrifices that come with it. But you know exactly what it took to get to this point. You had to endure their control, their games, their manipulation. You had to survive in the background, pretending to be part of their world, while silently plotting your escape. You had to suffer, to sacrifice, to feel like you were stuck in a never-ending loop of their control. But now you're free, and their game is over. It's not easy to make that decision. It's not easy to walk away from the security, from the comfort, from the illusion of control they give you. But you did it. You saw through their lies, their manipulation, their facade. And you pulled the plug. You severed the connection. You decided that you were done being a part of their game. That's when the walls started to crack. That's when everything started to fall apart. The system they built, the power they thought they had, it was all dependent on you staying in place, on you playing along. But you weren't fooled anymore. You saw it for what it really was. A game that you didn't need to play. A game that wasn't worth your time. And now they're shut down. They didn't see it coming. They didn't anticipate that you'd have the strength to walk away. But now that you've done it, now that you've made that choice, you're going to face the aftermath. It's not going to be easy. There will be people who don't understand, people who will try to pull you back into the game. There will be those who want to see you fail, who want to see you go back to the old ways. But you can't go back. You've seen the truth, and there's no unseeing it. Once you pull the plug, there's no going back to the way things were. You've severed the connection, and it's done. But here's the thing you need to realize. Once you pull the plug on their game, once you shut them down, you're not just leaving them behind. You're stepping into something greater. You're stepping into the world where you control the rules. You're stepping into a new reality, where you get to decide what happens next. You're the one in charge now. It's a terrifying thought, isn't it? It's a thought that comes with immense responsibility. Because now, no one else can blame the system. No one else can blame the people who are controlling the game. If things go wrong now, if you fall, it's all on you. But if you succeed, if you rise, you're the one who gets to take credit. You're the one who gets to dictate the future. That's the price of pulling the plug. But there's a catch. It's not all rainbows and sunshine. There's a reason why so few people actually take control like this. There's a reason why so many stay stuck in the game, trapped by the people who think they have power over them. Because taking control is terrifying. It's messy. It's uncertain. It's not glamorous. It's raw. It's real. And you'll face challenges you never thought possible. You'll face enemies you didn't even know existed. You'll see people you once trusted turn against you. But here's the thing you need to understand. You'll also see who's truly on your side. The people who were only with you because of the game will disappear. They'll scatter like rats when the ship starts sinking. But the people who are truly loyal to you, they'll stand with you through the storm. They'll help you rebuild. They'll help you grow. Because once you pull the plug, once you shut them down, the world is yours to shape. And not everyone is capable of that kind of power. But you are. You've proven it. You've done it. You've made the choice to walk away from the game and carve your own path. Now, the only question is, what are you going to do with that power? Are you going to let it consume you? Or are you going to use it to build something greater than you've ever imagined? They'll try to bring you down. Make no mistake about that. The people who thrived off your suffering, who thrived off your submission, they're not going to let go so easily. They'll fight back. They'll try to sabotage you. But remember this, they only have power because you let them. And now that you've pulled the plug, they're powerless. They're shut down. The world doesn't care about your struggles, your pain, your journey. The world cares about results. And you're going to show them what happens when someone who has been pushed to their limits finally stands up and takes control. You're going to show them what happens when you pull the plug and shut them down. You're going to show them that you don't need their game to succeed. You don't need their approval. You don't need their validation. You are the one who decides what happens next. So stand tall. Walk with your head held high, because you've made the hardest decision of all. You've stepped out of their game, and now the world is yours. They can't touch you anymore. They can't control you. They're shut down. And you're just getting started. The road ahead is long, and it's going to be hard. But you've already proved that you have what it takes. You've already proved that you're capable of so much more than they ever gave you credit for. And now you're going to show them what real power looks like. You're going to show them that when you pull the plug on their game, it's not the end. It's just the beginning of your reign. You're unstoppable now, and they'll never see it coming. That's the beauty of it, isn't it? The people who thought they had you figured out, the ones who assumed they could predict every move you'd make, they'll never see you coming. When you pulled the plug on their game, when you severed the cords that tied you to their world, they thought you were weak. They thought you would fail. But what they didn't understand was that you were never a part of their game. You were just pretending. You were learning. You were preparing. And now, the moment has come where everything shifts. They can't comprehend the power of your decision. They can't wrap their heads around the fact that you're no longer under their thumb. But what they don't realize is that their reaction to your rise is already in motion. You've already won the first battle. You've taken the first step to freeing yourself from the chains that once bound you. They'll try to discredit you, of course. They'll try to make it seem like you're a fool for turning your back on them. But you know better. You know that in reality, they're scared. They're scared of what happens when someone like you refuses to play by their rules. They're scared because deep down, they know that their reign, their influence, their hold over others was always an illusion. And now, you've exposed that illusion for what it really is. There's a quiet strength in this. It's not the kind of strength that screams for attention, the kind of strength that relies on external validation. No, this is the kind of strength that comes from within. It's the strength of someone who understands that their power does not come from the world around them, but from their own ability to control their fate. It's the strength of someone who has looked at the game, understood its rules, and decided to rewrite them. And here's the hardest part. You'll have moments when you'll doubt yourself. You'll have moments when you question whether you made the right choice. The road you've chosen isn't easy, and you know it. The world is ruthless. The people who once held power over you will not go down quietly. They'll try everything to drag you back into their chaos. They'll try to make you feel small, insignificant. They'll throw every obstacle they can in your path. And in those moments, you'll feel the weight of what you've done. It will feel like the world is pressing down on you, like you're standing at the edge of a precipice, looking down at the abyss below. But don't be afraid. Don't let fear dictate your decisions. Remember, you didn't pull the plug because you were weak. You pulled the plug because you were strong enough to let go of something that no longer served you. And that, right there, is the key. You have the strength to walk away from toxic systems, from toxic people, from toxic patterns that were holding you back. You have the power to let go of the past and move forward into a future that is yours to create. Yes, it's scary. Yes, it's uncertain. But that's the price of freedom. That's the cost of taking control of your destiny. You're not going to be handed success on a silver platter. You're not going to be given the keys to the kingdom by someone else. No, you're going to have to fight for it. You're going to have to claw your way to the top, one step at a time. But here's the difference. Now you're doing it on your terms. Now you're not playing someone else's game. You're playing your own. And that's where the true power lies. They'll try to make you doubt yourself, to make you question your choices, to make you believe that you're better off going back to the life you had. They'll use guilt, manipulation, even fear to try to pull you back into the fold. But you know better now. You've seen behind the curtain. You've seen how the system operates, how it thrives on your submission, on your willingness to comply. And you know that you don't need that system to succeed. You don't need their approval, their permission, their validation. You have everything you need inside of you. The first step to truly taking control of your life is realizing that the game was never about you. It was never about your happiness, your success, your well-being. It was always about them, about the people who used you as a pawn in their own schemes, their own games. They never cared about you. They only cared about what you could do for them. And now, you've taken yourself out of the equation. You've taken yourself off the board, and their game is over. But here's where it gets even more interesting. The moment you pulled the plug on their game, you didn't just cut off the power to them, you also cut off the power to the entire system that they built around themselves. You see, they thought they were in control. They thought they had the upper hand. But the truth is, their control was fragile. It was built on the backs of people like you, people who believed in their lives, people who played along because they didn't know any better. But now you've shattered that illusion. Now you've shown everyone that the system is nothing without you. It's nothing without your compliance. And now that the plug is pulled, everything they've built will begin to crumble. And this is where the real power shift happens. As the dust settles, you'll begin to see the cracks in their empire. You'll begin to see how weak their foundation truly was. All the lies they told, all the manipulation they used to keep people in line, it all starts to unravel. And while they scramble to put the pieces back together, you'll be one step ahead. You'll be building something new, something stronger, something built on your own terms. The most dangerous thing in the world isn't someone who is willing to fight. The most dangerous thing in the world is someone who has nothing left to lose. You've already made the hardest decision. You've already pulled the plug. The worst that can happen is that they try to drag you back into their game, but you won't go back. You can't go back. And that's what makes you unstoppable. That's what makes you a force to be reckoned with. There will be people who tell you that you're making a mistake. There will be people who try to talk you out of it, who try to convince you that you're better off going back to the way things were. But don't listen to them. Don't let their fear dictate your future. They're scared of change. They're scared of someone like you who isn't afraid to take control of their life. They want you to stay small, to stay safe, to stay in the shadows. But you were never meant for the shadows. You were meant to step into the light. You were meant to break free from the chains that held you down and rise to a level that they could never even dream of. It's going to be a hard journey. You're going to face obstacles you never expected. You're going to encounter resistance from people who want you to fail. But don't back down. Don't give up. You have what it takes to succeed. You've already proven that by pulling the plug and walking away from their game. Now, it's time to show the world what happens when someone who has been underestimated rises to take control. It's time to show them that they'll never see it coming. They'll never see you rise. They'll never see you thrive. And that's your victory. They'll try to play their game again, but you're not playing anymore. You're rewriting the rules. You're creating your own game. And now, they'll have to play by your rules. And the world will watch as you rise, as you build something that's yours, something that's real, something that's built on your terms. And when they see that, when they see your success, when they see what happens, when someone who has been broken rises, they'll know one thing for sure. They'll know that they were never in control. You were always the one who held the power. And now that you've pulled the plug on their game, they'll never see it coming. Because you've already won. You're already unstoppable. And nothing can ever stop you now. You've crossed a threshold, a point of no return. The line between who you were and who you've become has been permanently redrawn. The old version of you, the one that took orders, the one that bent to the whims of others, the one that lived within the rules of someone else's game, no longer exists. You killed that version of yourself when you pulled the plug. You severed the connection between you and the system that sought to control you. The world might try to convince you otherwise. It might throw its challenges at you. But deep down, you know that you are now a force of nature, a hurricane that cannot be stopped. It's not about revenge. It's not about destruction. It's about creation. What you've done, the decision you've made to walk away from their game, it's about you taking ownership of your existence. They had a plan for you, a script they wrote and expected you to follow. But what you've shown them, is that you're not bound by anyone else's script. You're writing your own story now, and as long as you hold the pen, no one can dictate the outcome. That's the power you've gained. You're not just a player in the game anymore. You're the one who created it. And that's terrifying to those who've always thought they were the ones holding the power. But here's the thing they don't understand. You didn't just pull the plug on their game. You've pulled the plug on a way of thinking. You've disconnected yourself from a mindset that bound you to their expectations, their norms, their limited beliefs. You didn't just shut down their system. You shut down every limiting thought they ever instilled in you. The ideas they tried to plant in your mind. Those ideas that you weren't enough, that you couldn't go further than what they allowed, that you couldn't rise above the role they handed to you. They're no longer a part of your reality. You've seen the truth now, and the truth is that you were never a small piece in their puzzle. You were always the one holding them, pieces, the one who had the ability to reshape the entire game. What they don't realize is that their game was built on a foundation of dependence. They needed you, whether they acknowledged it or not. They needed your energy, your time, your labor, your creativity, your compliance. They needed you to perpetuate their false reality. But once you removed yourself from that equation, their entire operation collapsed like a house of cards. They underestimated your power. They believed they could control you with their promises, their manipulation, their threats. But what they never counted on was your will to break free. And in the moment you stepped away, in the moment you chose to carve your own path, you severed the lifeline that connected you to their illusions. Now, you'll watch them flounder. You'll see them grasp at straws, trying to maintain the power they once had over you, trying to pull you back into their orbit. They'll beg, they'll manipulate, they'll try to convince you that you're nothing without them, that you'll never survive outside their system. But you'll see right through it. Their words will fall flat, because deep down, they never believed in you. They only saw you as a resource, a tool to be used and discarded. And that is the moment of liberation, the moment when you realize just how much of their power was nothing but an illusion. But here's where you'll have to dig deeper. There's a level of personal strength required when you make the decision to walk away from everything they've built, especially when that system has been your entire life for so long. The hardest battles are fought in silence, within your own mind, when you face the aftermath of your choices. The world outside will keep moving. It won't stop for you. It won't slow down. And that's a harsh truth. The people around you may look at you with confusion, disbelief, or even disdain. You may encounter resistance from every corner, people who want to see you fail, who are desperate for you to crawl back into the familiar cage you once lived in. But you know now that you're not just running away from their game. You're running towards something far greater, something that doesn't rely on their rules, their structure, or their approval. It's tempting to listen to the voices of doubt that will echo in your head. The ones that tell you that you made a mistake, that you're crazy for stepping away. Those voices will try to remind you of the security, the comfort, the illusion of safety that you left behind. But here's the truth you need to internalize. Comfort kills growth. Security suffocates potential. You cannot grow while remaining in the same stagnant environment. The only way forward, the only way to break free from the chains of the past, is to step into the unknown, to take the leap, even when the ground beneath you feels uncertain, even when the future seems hazy and unclear. You've already done the hardest part. You've already taken the first step. You've pulled the plug, and in doing so, you've declared war on the system that tried to control you. You've signaled that you're no longer going to follow their script, no longer going to play by their rules. And that, right there, is the moment everything changes. That's the moment the old world crumbles. It's not about tearing things down for the sake of destruction. It's about creating something new, something born from the ashes of the old. You've chosen to forge a new path, one that's uniquely yours. But don't think for a second that this will be easy. The path you've chosen will be filled with struggles, setbacks, and obstacles that seem insurmountable. There will be times when you feel alone, when you question whether you've made the right choice, when everything feels like it's falling apart. But you have to remember something crucial. The greatest victories come from the greatest challenges. The most beautiful diamonds are formed under pressure. And you've just started to face the heat. Now that the plug has been pulled, you're in control. You're the one calling the shots. You decide how the story unfolds. But control isn't just about power, it's about responsibility. When you walk away from the game, when you sever those old ties, you're stepping into a new realm of leadership. And leadership is about taking full accountability for every move you make. It's about being able to stand tall when the world around you is crumbling, to face adversity head on and not back down. The road you're about to walk will test you in ways you never imagined. You'll be forced to make choices that will impact not just your life, but the lives of those around you. And that's where your true strength will emerge, when you learn to make decisions not out of fear, but out of conviction. Remember, the game was never about you. It was about them, their needs, their desires, their control. But now, it's about you. It's about your freedom, your vision, your future. And no, one can take that from you unless you let them. They'll try to pull you back. They'll try to convince you that you belong to their world, that you need them to survive. But you know better now. You know that you don't need them. You never did. They'll look at you in disbelief. They'll wonder how you had the courage to walk away when so many others stayed. They'll wonder why you dared to pull the plug, knowing the risks, knowing that the world might come crashing down. But you'll smile inside, knowing that their doubt, their fear, their confusion are all part of the game they tried to play. But you're not playing anymore, and that's what terrifies them. And as the world begins to witness the ripple effects of your decision, as the dust begins to settle and the truth starts to spread, you'll see the beginning of your reign, the reign of someone who has nothing left to lose, the reign of someone who no longer answers to anyone but themselves. This is where you begin. This is where you build. And this is where you become unstoppable. You have all the power now. It's yours to wield, and there's no going back. In the end, you made the most powerful decision of all, to break free from their control, to pull the plug on their game. And now, there's no turning back. You've stepped into a world where you write your own rules, where you control your own fate. The challenges will come, but so will the victories. With every obstacle, you grow stronger, more unstoppable. You've already proven that nothing can stop you, and the world will soon learn that the moment you took control was the moment you became invincible. Keep going, because this is only the beginning of your reign.